Hi, this is Bill Boerum speaking to you from the Napa Valley. Well, actually, not the Napa Valley. We're up on Howell Mountain, which is one of the boundary points of the Napa Valley and a very special growing area and wine producing area. We're up here probably at about 2,000 feet or so, and I'm with a longtime friend of mine, a terrific wine educator and just an outstanding host to any of his guests, and that's Jeff Blaum. And I wanted to ask Jeff about the difference between mountain fruit, as we call it, and fruit that is grapes grown on the valley floor. So, Jeff, what makes Howell Mountain and other mountain vineyards very special?
Well, primarily, first off, it's the elevation. Being a little bit higher up on the mountain, you get cooler temperatures, longer hang times, which typically leads to bigger, fuller bodied wines. The soil composition up here is quite different. Volcanic ash, there's some red clay, but primarily volcanic ash here, so there is a lot of very little water retention. So you see a lot of stress on the vines, which again leads to hang time and more intensity in the fruit. Valley floor, typically, if you think about it, the water runs downhill, so you'll have a lot more water down there, more water in the soil, softer berries, a little bit softer tannins and so forth. So, just by a general rule of thumb, obviously each location is a little bit differently, but a good rule of thumb is that mountain fruit will be more powerful, more tannic wines, where the valley floor is a little bit more of that softer, moist palate.
Right. Well, thank you. And of course, at this time of the year, we're talking about bud break, which I think probably, 25-30% of the vines the buds are breaking, so to speak.
Right.
But I notice up here looking at this particular vineyard that there is no bud break. Why is that?
Well, again, the two factors we just talked of, the elevation, so cooler temperatures. These will be a little bit further behind the valley floor, and then also the lack of water retention. So again, we typically in this vineyard, being at we're actually about 1680 on our elevation, so we're usually a good 2 to 3 weeks behind the valley floor. It's always been my experience somewhere around April 1st you'll see bud break up in St. Helena. And then, typically here we're another 2 or 3 weeks behind that. And that will translate all the way through with all the other benchmarks, whether it be veraison or, eventually harvest.
So a later harvest up here on the mountain?
Almost always.
Right. One other thing I noticed here is between the rows there's a lot of crop growing. If you would just tell us and say something about the cover crop,
right,
and the role of the cover crop in a vineyard.
Well, the role of the cover crop is typically to provide nutrients back to the vines, a lot of potassium and nitrogens that are in there. Again, that will be chosen by the vineyard manager and by the winemaker based on what's already in the soil and what they feel like it needs. It also helps in holding down the dust. And when you get this volcanic ash, you kick the dirt in this particular vineyard during the summer, it's like powder. So we like to leave a little bit of the cover crop on there even throughout the summer. We won't mow right at the with the entire vineyard, just to help keep the dust down.
Well, terrific. Well, that's a lot of good, you might say, farming education, not just wine education. So again, Bill Boerum from the Napa Valley, and thank you very much, Jeff, for a very nice visit up here on Howell Mountain.
You're welcome, Bill. Thank you.